How's it going, guys? My name's Graham. Welcome to Two Left Thumbs. This is the highly anticipated Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 2. Similar to what I did for the first game, I'm hoping to give an exhaustive look at everything there is to see in this game. We're going to start out with a collection of references and Easter eggs hidden throughout, the secret coin locations, then the medallions. They're different, there's coins and medallions, and capping it all off with the 4 different endings available in this game. So buckle up if you want to watch that whole thing, but I do have timestamps built into this if you want to jump to a specific one of those sections. And hey, if you want to see a full end-to-end playthrough and see the game play out as it was, meant to be seen, I'll have a card up in the corner, links in the description to my own playthrough of the game. It's less comprehensive than this, but hey, maybe it's a little bit more natural of a way to experience a game. There will also be links to that Steam page down below. Let's get on into it, shall we? First off, I did want to look at things really specifically within that demo, since it does play out slightly differently. The story plays out in the same way, it just has a distinctly different ending point. So in the main manor, there are 3 very wide floors. I'll try my best to use things like landmarks to reference where precisely you need to be. With the start of Chapter 4, Molly, we get a bit of a branch in the story. In the full release, we go looking for Molly in the library. In the demo, we instead jump to a different sequence. One where everything is these creepy portals, whispers, lots of fires burning. We encounter Miss Bow, Mr. Stripes, and Mr. Hopp. It ends with the final jump scare, so it's all cut off quite abruptly. There's no additional lore or anything like that. The main reason it felt worth revisiting at all is for a little extra something that is hidden throughout this demo. As you progress through, you can collect the different letters of Esther's name, similar to how you might in a Donkey Kong Country game. The E is on the 2nd floor of this opening area. Once the hide and seek chapter has properly begun, down on the bottom floor, all the way to the right in the kitchen, you ignore Molly and Isaac, don't head over towards them. We have S up on a shelf. You need to push the stool over to get that. You can progress through to Chapter 2. When first leaving your room, head over to the right. You need to push both the table and chair into place, and you can grab an H from up top. On the top floor, there's a room almost all the way to the right that has a lone E off to the side. On the bottom floor to the far left, we have a T. Progress through that as you normally would. We need to make our way to Chapter 4. After our argument with Molly, you can go up to the top floor, and in the middle of the hallway, we have the R. With the full name complete, once you've finished the demo and head to the menu, you just have a little trophy letting you know how well you've done, I guess. And as a bonus, it grants you access to Hopp's Rush, which is a simple little infinite runner where you just have to outrun Mr. Hopp. That's everything to look at for the demo. There's not a lot there, nothing much extra compared to the full game. Tying into themes of 6 in this game, like the name Esther or the 6 medallions, there are 6 gifts to be found tied up with specific Easter eggs. As you find these presents, they are also added to the extras menu, aiding in you keeping track of which ones you've found so far. There are 6 in total. At any time with this little bust on the statue here, you can climb up and interact with it twice to push it off the edge. Once that has been shattered, if we go all the way over to the right-hand side, a new passage will have opened up for us, inside of which we have a giant literal Easter egg, which I'm guessing is maybe Moonbit, the developer themselves, and a little present to be collected. This is definitely one of the more involved secrets, so I recommend doing it during a daytime chapter like number 4, Molly. You'll notice there are 3 books that have a little bit of a face on them. Something maybe a tiny bit familiar looking. Interacting with any of these has a small little click sound. There's that first gray one up top. Next, push the stool off to the right, Up on the second from the top shelf, we have a little blue one. Second click, take the stool all the way over to the left. And there is a brown one, second from the top. Third click, you can leave the library, head up to the second floor, off to the right, and this bookshelf can be moved out of the way. Behind there, we have a small, blocky world. Everything is squares. Yeah, it's a full-on Minecraft reference. Those are meant to be little tiny creeper faces. And you can collect your gift up at the top. Another secret that I think is best done during Chapter 4 during the daytime. There's no matrons to stop you. An easy step to miss, but something that's been confirmed by the developer, is that you have to interact with this lamp 15 times before you're able to execute this next secret. It's unclear if 15 includes on and off. You might just want to turn it on and off again 15 times just to be sure. Run all the way up to the top floor. There are 2 doors open. You're going to want to go to the one that's a little bit more to the left. On the top shelf, there's one book that is slightly wider than the other, this dark brown one. When you interact with it, it gets an evil, glowing face. Head all the way back downstairs through the great hall in the dining room here. There is one door. Nothing indicates you can interact with it, but once you do, you have access to a secret room with a chainsaw and Groovy written on the wall. All of this is in reference to Sam Raimi's Evil Dead series. The book upstairs would be the Necronomicon. This would be Ash's chainsaw, and Groovy is a bit of a catchphrase of his. Groovy. And once again, we have a present to collect. For these next few secrets, it doesn't matter if it's day or night, so I would recommend doing them on a nice simple chapter like Molly, where you have kind of free reign of the house. For this next secret, you have to interact with every houseplant that there is. Unlike the books, there's no clicking or audible or visual signal to let you know that you've done it. Instead, you have to move through and just kind of spam interacting in front of them. This means every little bit of greenery that you encounter, and there are many on every floor of this game. But you only have to worry about the ones in the main hallway. That means you don't have to go up to Miss Beverly's room or anything like that, but there are houseplants out around the kitchen. Make sure you hit those. Don't forget to do these ones that are also in front next to the railing, rather than receded into the background like most of them are. That makes for 11 plants on the bottom floor, 4 on the middle floor, and 9 up top. Upon interacting with the last one, we have a little musical cue to let us know we have indeed interacted with every plant. On the top floor, we now have a little crate that appears. This is meant to be from Crash Bandicoot. As you repeatedly bounce on top of it, it will spit out Wumpa fruits, and at the end, you're left with a gift to collect. We have a very similar solution and strategy to the previous secret. This time, what we're concerned with are the paintings. You have to interact with every painting. Again, there's no cue for this, and you just have to interact in front of these ones, even though you're not really touching them, but make sure you do all the small paintings as well. That means 4 on the bottom floor. Don't forget this trio of paintings, I'm quite certain it is included. 16 on the middle floor, and 16 on the top floor once you've hit the bedrooms as well. Unlike the houseplant, we don't get a handy audible cue to let us know that the secret has been uncovered. Once you've done so on the main floor, run all the way across, head towards the kitchen. Once you're in that area, there's a door here. It has no indicator of any kind again, but you can interact with it. We're taken to a separate room with a painting setup. With the dark room, the paintbrush and palette, painting a nice scenery of mountains, a lake, a nice little tree, it's meant to be a Bob Ross reference. You can collect your gift, and we'll have one more to go. The final one of these gifts is so highly specific, GMD actually activated it on accident, and once having done that, Moonbit, the developer, was kind enough to explain what it actually takes to do. Interact with the 2 red chairs on the top floor, the suit of armor on the second floor, the statue between the 2 staircases, and the stack of boxes over by the elevator. Head back to the kitchen, and on one of these shelves, you actually see a water bottle. It's been there all along. Maybe it's hard to tell that's what it is because of, the limited pixel art. It probably should have stood out in some way as being rather anachronistic, like it doesn't belong in this setting. Once you've interacted with those very specific items, you're able to knock it over off the shelf, at which point we hear our little jingle of unlocking a secret. Next to the fireplace on the bottom floor, just to the right of the kitchen, we have a new secret passageway, which takes us to the apartment from The Room. Known as being one of the worst movies of all time, we specifically have Tommy Wiseau hanging out here, a big spoon picture in the background. The spiral staircase, it's pretty faithfully recreated. You can't actually speak with Tommy, unfortunately, but we can grab our gift, and at this point, we will have had all 6 gifts. When you visit this in the extras section, we get fun confetti to let us know just how well we've done. There are a few extra secrets, ones that are not tied to any of these gifts. Mr. Hopp having one wandering eye is most likely meant to be a reference to the more recent movie adaptations of Pennywise from Stephen King's It. Dee seems to also be aware of the whispers.
Do you hear it? The whispering. The evil that rhymes these halls. There's something among us.
She claims that there's something among us. There's no way the developers scripted out that line without knowing its inherent meme quality. Chapter 5 is the loop. The first part of it is this kind of tedious urn puzzle. I use puzzle quite loosely. It can be a bit of a frustrating part of the game, but it leads into one of the most exciting parts, which is this repeating cyclical hallway, with each pass through it being slightly different. This is a conceptual reference to the PlayStation horror game demo PT. There are a series of vases hidden around the map that you have to smash, and you can only do so during the nighttime. On the bottom floor, in the kitchen, off to the far, far right, you need the stool in place for this one, but you can now smash the red urn. Urn, vase, I don't really know what they are. On the mid floor on the far left, we have the orange one. On the top floor towards the middle, when you're directly above the wood paneled area, you can smash the blue vase. Again on the top floor off to the far right, we can smash pink. Only once all 4 of those are smashed can we make our way back upstairs. So, maybe you order things so that you do the blue and pink one next to last. Just past the record player, pretty well immediately to the right of where the blue one was, we have this open door. It's the same room where Molly and Isaac are trapped behind that door. We can push a stool in place and interact with the 5th vase, the yellow. And by smashing that, we unlock a secret, have a little sound effect, head back into the hallway, and the matrons that wander the hallway are now replaced with little ghosts from Pac-Man. We have the blue one, orange, red, and pink. So, that makes sense of the vase color now. The 5th one would be yellow, like Pac-Man. I guess that makes us Pac-Man. It has been confirmed that once we have the Pac-Man ghosts wandering the hallways, that is the end of the secret. That is the full extent of it. There's no gift to be found or extra room or anything like that. There is this portion of the game where we have a password entering puzzle. I'm sure everyone remembers from the first game, the 1987 secret hidden within. I actually don't know Five Nights at Freddy's lore that well. Thank you guys for the thorough explanations of the bite of 87. Sound off in the comments with some Markiplier memes or something that I know you made it this far into the video. It's a little less straightforward this time. 1987, interact with it, close down, and we have a little Freddy Fazbear top hat stacked on top of these boxes. You can't grab or interact with it. The stack of boxes gives it some height. We can pretend that that's the body of Freddy. So we just have that subtle connection of the specific year and the top hat. You can only activate the panel when you have the correct code entered, and all that does is restore power to the lift. It doesn't actually bring this to life or anything. It has been confirmed by the developer that this little hat is all there is for the Freddy reference. And it's been confirmed that this was reduced to such a simple reference for the same reason it was changed in the original game. When Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 1 was remade for a mobile version, this golden Freddy was replaced with a top hat only, since that version of the game is monetized and they wanted to avoid any copyright issues. Now, I had shared with the developer what I was able to find on my own before the game's proper release, and as an extra little thanks for checking out the game, thanks for the feedback, they did give me one hint to go off of, which is much appreciated and saves me from having to try 9,999 different combinations. I was told to enter 2319 in this box. This is something that specifically comes from Monsters, Inc.
2319! We have a 2319!
It's the 23rd and 19th letter of the alphabet. Some people have theorized that's meant to mean white sock. More likely, it's Wazowski and Sullivan, the two surnames of our protagonists. Once you've entered that, you can see a little white sock on this box. And yes, you can have both of those little secrets active at once. After assembling the ritual for D, who reveals themselves to be evil and another one of us, we are actually transported to the future into the setting of Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 1. It's all a very familiar setting. We have essentially the same mechanics from that first game, having Mr. Hopp lurking around the different corners, jumping out at us anytime we make too much noise. It's not totally identical to the original. Ruby's parents' bedroom doesn't actually exist at all. Finally, we have one of the hardest to find secrets in the game. It was seemingly the last one to be found. Upon a specific interaction, you will hear a whisper during the third chapter, The Six. Seemingly, this is activated by spamming more than 10 interactions in the green bathroom of the previous chapter. So begin the hunt. Run up to the left, up and around. You shouldn't encounter any matrons. Spam interact a bunch of times. Progress the story to chapter 3. And after collecting the 5th medallion, you'll hear something quietly in the background. It's a little bit involved to reach this point. I couldn't get it to activate 100% consistently. I assume there's something specific in the bathroom and a specific number of interactions. I was trying and trying, and I had the most success when just interacting with everything over and over. The trial and error to narrow that down in a relatively hard to find, lengthy secret in the game was very difficult. I'm sorry it's not more precise, just go spam around in the bathroom. There are 6 different whispers to be heard at this stage, telling you things like you won't escape. But the most crucial one that Moonbit specifically teased, is the revelation of that original girl's name. She whispers to you, and with that, we have the last secret of the game, as well as a very significant piece of lore. I need to include a special shout out to Russian YouTuber GMD13 here. We ran into each other a few times in different forums and things trying to search for secrets, and we decided we were going to try to work together to uncover every secret in this game. While we both put in the time, I can take next to no credit. We found a few things at the same time, but all the most difficult to find secrets ended up coming straight from them. So without them, this video either never would have happened, or maybe in like 8 more months once I finally exhausted every possible way of searching for secrets in this game. Yeah, credit where credit's due. They certainly have a knack for it. Any coins you collect can be spent in the extras menu to unlock things like additional skins. There is an achievement for buying up all the minigames and the skins. There are actually more coins hidden throughout the game than you need to afford everything in this unlockable menu. I thought about including the location of every one of those coins. It was quickly becoming an overly long part of the video, and kind of difficult to explain precisely where everything was during which chapters on which floors. Really, as you're playing the game, at each branching point, just spend like an extra minute or two looking on every floor in the different rooms. You'll find most of them that way. Some of them are totally unavoidable. The most difficult ones are a few that are hidden up inside of cupboards. You have to push some stools around to get them. If you're motivated to collect all of them, I promise you it's not that hard. The mini games include Hopp Hockey, which is just a simple little air hockey game that you can play against an AI. Hopp Horde has little demons generating into the hallway here that you have to blast your way through. It's all about surviving waves. We have this big heavy metal soundtrack that's quite fun. You can insta-kill everything in the room, blast your way through, drop bombs. As you play, you earn points that you can invest in making yourself stronger. Every minute, a new wave begins where the horde grows stronger. Everything seemingly just has more health. Enemies are seemingly always worth 50 points, and so the later into things you get, the more health they have, yet the same points they give back. So there's no real incentive to make it deeper into this. I would recommend just trying to survive through the first wave or two, farm some easy points, collect pickups throughout, then you can stockpile bombs and things which are very useful, and then right when things get hard, just kind of let yourself get killed again. Your points will carry forward, so you can just easily replay things and go back to when it was easy. Bet you weren't expecting strategies within this video for a goofy mini game within a game. Rate of fire seems to cap out at 6 upgrades. It says you can do another one, but it won't actually let you. Even when farming upgrades, pickups, and power-ups in this way, the furthest I ever made it was 5 minutes and 14 on wave 6. Things get pretty hairy. I can't imagine there being a point further past that where you earn anything special. And for me, that kind of confirms that all of these mini-games are just meant to be little for fun nothings. I don't think you actually earn anything. There is Hopp's Rush, which kind of recreates that one medallion game. You're just jumping and ducking and trying to make it as far as possible. A nice, simple auto runner. I do like hearing the video gamified version of Mr. Hopp's theme song though. I think that's quite well done. Just as kind of a for fun thing, my best run on this was 1033. If anyone picks up the game, there's something to try and beat, and I don't think that's particularly strong of a showing. It should be easy to top. And the last of these mini games is Hoppy Bird. This is a pretty obvious play on Flappy Bird, the old mobile game sensation that kind of took everyone by storm for whatever it was, a week or two, was removed from the App Store, and its legacy continues to have grown since then. And yeah, I guess we want to try and do the whole beat my best score in these individual games. I'd say this would be my easiest one to beat. I was never good at Flappy Bird. Apparently I'm not good at Hoppy Bird. There you have it, 4. There's my best. That's what you gotta try to beat. In order to find the true ending to the game, we need to collect 6 medallions scattered throughout the game and complete their associated challenges. During Chapter 4, Molly, if you go all the way upstairs, just right of that middle floor wooden room, there's an open door in which we can find the first medallion. You jump up and interact with that, and it begins a special stage, which plays out like an auto runner. You have to jump over spikes, duck under other spikes, jump over these little hands. Any hit taken will push you closer to Mr. Hopp. Too many hits and he'll be able to catch you. Survive for 90 seconds and earn that first medallion. During Chapter 6, Whispers, if you go downstairs, off to the left, over to the library, and on the second floor of the library, we have our second medallion. This one is all about precise platforming all the way up to the top, moving quickly enough as it auto-advances to not be captured by Miss Bow. Don't worry, you can just hold the run button the entire time, breeze through that, and earn the second medallion. After you lure away the matron with the record and go and check up on Isaac and Molly, you run all the way downstairs off to the right into the kitchen for yet another medallion. This one is all about beating the timer. You have to run along, dodge all of the obstacles in your path. You can see Mr. Stripe running off in the distance. I thought maybe it was a race. It doesn't actually matter. It's just about beating the timer. There's not a ton of forgiveness. You're not going to want to hesitate too much there. In the cellar, going all the way off to the far right, we can see Mr. Hopp on the edge of these crates with a medallion up above. I spent way too long trying to position this in the exact right spot to be able to jump past this rabbit and go and snag it before he wakes up. You totally can do it that way. I don't recommend it. You can instead wake up Mr. Hopp, run and flee to this room, immediately come out, come back, and you have a nice easy access there to the medallion. Don't make things harder than they need to be. On this fourth medallion, you need to quickly hop between these hands. They disintegrate upon landing on any of them. You're going to want to simply hold down the run button and avoid hesitating too much. Find your rhythm and you'll be done in no time. When escaping the cellar, the lift will break. There's a halfway point where you can get off and continue the story. Instead, use that as a jumping point to continue climbing up, and we have another medallion. This sequence is specifically Mr. Stripes. There's a crushing roof up above us that always has a little cutout to duck and hide in. As things progress, spikes start dropping from the roof, coming up from the floor. Survive through the duration of that, and you're able to snatch up a medallion. After making your way up from the lift, Esther says she wants to go back to bed. You can run straight off to the right, past these three bozos, they won't do anything about it, all the way to the far end where the fireplace is for another medallion. This one involves running through a series of obstacles, spikes, punching fists, the usual, but we also have Miss Bow bouncing her way along, and you have to be able to carefully time either running or ducking your way underneath those. This is the one with maybe the highest time pressure. The way you often have to pause and line up precisely running underneath traps and things, it gets pretty tricky. You have to go through 4 levels, I believe, and at the top, you earn a medallion. Finding all the medallions is necessary for earning all the achievements and 100%ing the entire game. The game is confirmed to have 4 total endings, sort of a good ending and a bad ending, as well as 2 jokey endings. In Chapter 6, when you're sent to find the key from Miss Beverly's room, you can actually head outside. You can drag this stool with you all the way from over in the far, far left. It'll come outside with you. Once you've pushed the stool all the way over to this far wall, you can hop up on the stool, there's one more step, and out and over the wall, and away we go, off to freedom. The end. Esther decided that she had enough of this nonsense, so she ran and left it all behind for someone else to deal with. Smart girl. I think this is largely just poking fun at the horror and haunted house genres, that really when things start going sideways, maybe you should just leave. In the cellar, once you've retrieved the crowbar, you can run back out over to the left, and there is specifically a crack in the wall here. You can chip away at it and climb on inside. There is a singular coin and a message, "All hail." You interact with the stuff left in the middle of these candles, and you receive another one of those jokey, non-quite ending endings. Esther asked the mysterious magic shell what to do about the situation she was in. It replied, nothing. Esther did as she was instructed, for the shell had spoken. All of this is in reference to the magic conch shell from SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, magic conch shell. What do we need to do to get out of the kelp forest?
Nothing.
All hail the magic
conch!
A pretty goofy reference to tie in out of nowhere, but I kinda love it. The first true ending, the one I'm going to refer to as the bad ending, is achieved by playing through the entirety of the game without collecting all 6 medallions.
I'm not scared of you, and I'm tired of you trying to wither me down.
Play with us, Esther.
A chase initiates with the entity. You're left running through the house, escaping grabbing hands and looming figures.
Where are you going? What about your friends?
You make it through the exit,
I can see an exit.
only to be caught by the entity still.
I'm outside. Silly rabbit. You'll catch a cold just sitting there.
Today marks 67 years since the disappearance of 24 orphan children residing at Blacklands Manor, along with 5 care workers. To this day, this remains an active missing persons case and the largest in the country's history. Only 1 child was ever accounted for, but claimed to have no recollection of any other resident. Blacklands Manor was once a large orphanage home in the 1930s through to the 1950s.
Next, we can look at the other true ending. This one we can call the good ending. Good in the context of this game, being a prequel, leads into the canon of Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 1. Revisit the chapter where all the holes are being punched out from under the floor, and once you survive that, it initiates a brand new sequence. You are teleported to this hellish area. There's a sequence of simple puzzles. Towards the end of it, you fight this 3-headed Cerberus mashup mixture of all the different stuffed animals. And in this ending, you manage to save everyone. The orphans, the matrons, they all make it through.
What happened? It doesn't matter. Everything's okay now. Do you want to play hide and seek? I do!
Yes, but I'll count this time. By the way, where did you get that necklace?
So now that Esther has specifically defeated Mr. Hopp, it seems that they're no longer trying to possess her. Instead, they wipe out her memory, grant her the freedom to have a family of her own, in the hopes that one day this doll will be passed along to young Ruby. We can see Nana still has the necklace. She had a family of her own, maintained her friends. Happy, happy, joy, joy, all nice and good, except for the looming evil. And with every medallion collected, both endings found, everything paid to be unlocked, and all 6 gifts located, you will now unlock the 100% achievement and have that marked in the main screen of the game. There you have it, everything I could possibly share on Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 2. It's a very fun series. Moonbit clearly puts a lot of love and effort into it. I'm very curious what direction they'll choose to go with Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 3, if and or when that ever happens. Do you do a prequel and go all the way back to the Middle Ages? Do you branch off and follow up with whatever happened with Miss Bow and Mr. Stripes? Maybe we fast forward and go futuristic with it. Maybe there's an interlude where we find out that maybe at some point Mr. Hopp actually attempted to take over Jenna as well and decided they better skip a generation and go after Ruby instead. There's a lot of cool directions you could go with it, and I'm really impressed with how quickly the lore is being fleshed out. Yeah, it makes me look forward to whatever's coming next. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your patience while I tried to make this as comprehensive as possible. Thank you to patrons of the channel. Thank you to Moonbit for an early look at the game, and I hope to see you all again soon.